plate tectonics. Before we go into our first boundary, you need to understand convection currents, which is the way magma moves under the crust, which is in a circular motion, which is the base of the tectonic plates and how they move and why they move like they move. The first boundary we're going to talk about is a divergent boundary, which creates earthquakes, and it creates mid-ocean ridges and rift valleys. One of the important geographical locations is the Great African Rift Valley, which goes through the eastern part of Africa, combined by the African plates right here and here. And another important geographical location that everybody should know is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which runs straight through the Atlantic, as you can see, created by two tectonic plates pulling away from each other and making a trench that they call the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. The next boundary we're going to talk about is the transformative boundary, which creates earthquakes and surface faults formations. The tectonic plates in this case they slide against each other, either in opposite directions like this, or in the same direction, but one is moving faster than the other. One of the main geographical locations that is noted with transformation boundaries is the St. Andreas Fault in the western part of California, right here. And a close-up of this fault shows that the plates are moving past each other and leaving huge cracks in the Earth's surface, which makes us know that this is a transformative boundary. For our convergent boundaries, there are three specific types, which are oceanic, continental, and continental. Next, for the convergent boundaries, we have an oceanic subduction, which is where one plate, which is this one, would go over the other plate, which subducts underneath into the magma. At these oceanic subductions, we get tsunamis, volcanoes, earthquakes, deep sea trenches, and island formations. An example of the geological location is the Sandwich Islands, which is right here on our map, and a close-up of a deep sea trench is right here. For the next one, we have the continental oceanic, which is where the continental plate and the oceanic plate meet, and the oceanic plate subducts underneath the continental plate, creating earthquakes, volcanoes, coastal volcanic mountain ranges, and an example of the geographical location is the Andes Mountain Cascades, which is right here on the west coast of South America, and a close-up of the Andes right here. The next one we have is the continental convergent boundary, which is where two continental plates go together, and instead of going straight on and one subducting, they go straight on and they both come together and peak up to form mountains and earthquakes. A geological location we have is the Himalayas, which is right here by China and India, and a close-up of these mountains look like this. To learn about the boundaries, you should probably know the layers of the Earth, which are the inner core, outer core, mantle, and crust. The inner core is the very, very inside of the Earth, which is 1,600 miles in diameter and 9,800 degrees. It's allegedly made of mostly metals and is more solid than the rest. The outer core is next, which is 1,300 miles thick, which is 7,000 degrees. And the next layer is the mantle, which is 1,800 miles thick and 5,000 degrees. And on the very edge of the surface would be the crust, which is 30 to 35 miles thick and 392 to 752 degrees Fahrenheit.